What is up, everybody? I'm Max from the Marvelous Podcast. I'm joined by Big G. What is up, Big G?
Man, what's happening, Max? Man, it's counting down to a little special event that's going to happen for me in about 24 to 48 hours. But, I'm going to take my time and walk through this thing that just happened with the Marvelous Talk, because not only is it I get to spend a little time with my family over the next several days, my beloved Buckeyes get it on Saturday. So, but I'm focused today on She-Hulk because to me, it's a great series, but we'll get into it and talk about it a little bit more.
We're not worrying about, the Rolling Tide, the Buckeyes, the Clemson Tigers. We're worried about the She-Hulk. So unless you are green, that's all we care about right now. And everybody out there watching, I hope you guys are having an amazing time, amazing life, amazing weekend, Labor Day weekend. Enjoy it. Tune into some of the other Marvelous videos. And you guys know what we're going to do. We're going to break down the episode. We're going to give our thoughts, our reactions, what we look for in the future episodes, our grade for the episodes, and some Easter eggs. And if you guys have seen Big G She-Hulk thing, there's been so many times stuff he said has just been like little mentions and little nuggets. And we always talk about that's what makes Marvel special, the little nuggets. And we're going to get into that. So let's dive into the episode. So Jen Walters, she confronts Emil Blonsky about, hey, why did you break out of prison? He's like, well, that wasn't me. There was this guy named Wong, one name, no, like Beyonce, just Wong. He kidnapped me. He wanted a test, but I came back. He said, Emil, you can leave. You can live in a Kamar-Taj. What does it say? Kamar-Taj. I can't say it now on the podcast. I can say it a million times.
Kamar-Taj.
Thank you. Thank you, G. I knew I had you around for a reason, but no, thank you.
Yeah.
So he's like, you can stay here. It's beautiful this time of year. Wong, it's amazing. I don't know how it is in Ohio. It's hot in LA. And
it's beautiful.
Kamar-Taj seems like a nice place to live.
I think Ohio and Kamar-Taj mirror each other, man. It's about 70-something right now, man.
Now, maybe Wanda kind of, maybe the place needs some sprucing up after Wanda. We'll have to talk about it later. We're not going to get to see it, but Wong says it's beautiful. Let's just take his word for it, okay? And you know what? There's a lot of hate about Jen Walters defending him. There's a lot of talk about, is the female superhero, why is every superhero now a female? They took the Hulk's masculinity. Some people would smash. I'm quoting the episode. I'm just saying.
That's what he said. That's what the dude said.
That was one of the funniest things, I think, in the Marvelous TV show. But at the end of the day, Jen has a job to do. She needs to get Emil parole. He's been nothing but a model inmate. But we get to see the sleazebag Dennis. He's back. He needs some help, especially from the superhero law division, because Sean, he got played by a shape-shifting Asgardian elf who took the form of Megan Thee Stallion, one of the more bizarre things in the Disney-run Marvel universe we've seen. And my man got for $175,000.
Yeah.
And honestly, I thought he deserved it when he tried to fist bump the handshake and then handshake the fist bump.
Yeah, that was a total miss-handoff. That was a total miss-handoff.
Yeah, right there, I was like, I see why you got played. And immediately after the meeting, Dennis walks back in. He's like, you know what? I'm really embarrassed. I can't believe it. Let's just drop the charges. But it's not him. It's the elf. She's running amok. She's going crazy. She's fooling everybody.
Right.
But they have a plan for her. They're going to get her a little later on the episode, but Jen finds Wong. Wong confirms, hey, I kidnapped him. I needed to test myself. And I don't know how you feel about Wong right now, but I feel like he's playing up the Sorcerer Supreme thing a lot.
Yeah, I'm going to have some comments about Wong a little bit later, because I went back and watched the episode like a couple of times, and there's some stuff that don't make sense, but we'll get into it.
So they go to, Wong is going to testify, help Emil Blonsky. He's like, all right, we got this in the bag. Jen is stalling. He's nowhere to be found. They got the prison guard who Emil helped divorce. The 7 soulmates are there. We have, and I have the names right here. Let me just look for them. I'm sorry. We have Marta. This is ridiculous, by the way.
Yeah.
We have Blair, Ruth, Marta, Sheila, Alejandra, Yvonne, Nicolette, and they will take care of him. Did he all met through the pen pal program in the prison? I've personally never had a prison pen pal, Sean. I don't know. Have you ever had one?
No, and I don't want one either. It's a little late in the game to be trying to get a prison pen pal.
So they're stalling. They flash back to the court. Dennis is in court. The elf is running amok. She impersonates the judge, which is nail in the coffin. And I
Yeah.
love how she goes, Asgard's not a people, it's a place. I don't know where she heard this. So I guess that's a thing in Asgard now, ever since Odin muttered it to Loki and Thor.
Yeah.
So
But it's
that was an
but
awesome nugget.
it's comic book, but I'll get to that too when we go through it for sure.
Well, I will tag you in when we get to that point.
Yes,
But
sir.
she plays herself. She acts crazy. Jen low-key ethers Dennis as a witness, says, you know, he's so full of himself, he's crazy. And Dennis wins the case with the help of Jen, low-key roasting him alive. Shots
Yeah.
fired in all directions.
Yeah.
But also we get an appearance of Megan Thee Stallion, the actual one. She's doing her thing in the courtroom, looking amazing, making her noises she makes. And at the pinnacle of the episode, Jen gets Emil parole. He demonstrates that he can turn into the abomination and be in control. Everyone was freaking out, and he's like, I'm in control. What are you guys freaking out about?
Right.
I've mastered this. And it shows maybe he is telling the truth, because I don't know about you. I was kind of doubting his intention, but it seems like he's being honest about it. Yeah. And that he's granted parole, albeit he's no longer allowed to turn into the abomination. He's going to wear an inhibitor.
Right.
But he's free, and Jen wins the case. She does a really awkward interview where she does not divulge her secret workout and diet.
Yeah.
And at the end of the episode, when she gets home, she's attacked by a gang of Asgardian construction workers, as she coined it. She swiftly beats their butts, but their boss is going to be mad. And we're going to speculate who that boss is at the end of this episode. Yeah. But that's really all that happened. Did we miss anything? Is there anything you want to touch on?
No, I mean, that's the highlights of the show. There'll be a lot of Easter egg references and stuff that I'll talk about as we go through, but that's the gist of it, for sure.
So, reaction. Theme of the episode. What did you think this theme was? I'm going to lead it off. I thought it was second chances and stepping into the light. Jen throughout the episode was talking about, I'm not She-Hulk. No one calls me that. And at the end, she's given the interview, something she was so adamant against. So she's stepping into the light of She-Hulk.
I'm buying it. I like it. If I had a comment or a theme or something that would be about the episode, I would call it "Who's Pulling Your Strings?" Because I think that there was a lot of little layout concerning the story, the plot line, where we're going by episode 9, and who's really pushing buttons where. Because now we've seen another enhanced being, this thing come in that was playing Megan Thee Stallion, and it's actually a light elf from Asgard, which is the opposite of the dark elves that we saw in Thor: The Dark World. They are parallels as far as what's going on from Asgard. Well, so that's why Sean, she has the ability to transform.
Let's imagine I've never heard of a dark elf or a light elf. What is the big key difference between the two, in your humble opinion?
Where a dark elf can manipulate matter, a light elf can manipulate themselves. They have the ability, but they also have different abilities where, like, all dark elves are sort of like the same. So Malekith is like the head dark elf, and that's the guy who you saw that was the evil person in Thor: Love and Thunder. So like they have one primal
or Thor 2: The Dark World.
Yeah, Thor 2: The Dark. Yep. And they have like one primal function. They're almost like Spawn, like not Spawn, like my man, the horrible film from Sony.
Morbius? Morbin time?
No, not Morbius. The anti-Spider-Man, man, Venom. They're almost like they have a.
You have to be more specific if you say horrible Sony film,
right.
Okay?
Right. They're symbiotic. Where the dark elves or the black elves are more symbiotic, and they die on the sword, and it's all about the preservation of their race and their race turning everything back to darkness. The light elves basically showed up when that Odin took over. Odin was like, I have to make something that's the anti of them. And they actually had a war between the light elves and the dark elves. And the light elves fought on the side of Odin when Odin took over the 9 realms. So that's a deep Marvel cut, but it's been going on for a long time as far as the comic books. I think they showed up in like issue 99, somewhere between 99 and 106, 107 in the original Thor run. So they've been around in the comic books for a long time.
Yeah, that's a good just summary of how the dark elf's different from the light elves, because she's kind of like a side character, like a comic relief, how she's just like manipulating the judge, manipulating the jury.
Mhm.
but she might tie into something bigger down the road, or especially just a mention of New Asgard is
Mhm.
just pretty big for any MCU project in my mind.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, also so the judge had it wrong. The judge said Thor said it. The judge said that Thor wasn't a place, the Asgard wasn't a place, it's a people. That's not who said it. The actual two people that said it was Heimdall said it one time and Odin said it one time. And the reference has always been, and what they're actually saying is, as long as the people of Asgard exist, they can rebuild Asgard regardless of where it is and how it exists. That's why you have New Asgard on Earth.
I
And that's
just
a
think it was
direct line from the
shocking.
comics.
Yeah, I just thought it was shocking. Sorry to interrupt you. It's shocking that that was really the theme of Thor 3 Ragnarok. It's a
Mhm.
people, not a place. For
Right.
them to mutter it in kind of a joking manner when it was a very serious thing, and it's the thing that kind of that gives Thor the idea to start Ragnarok and kill Hela.
Right, correct. His thing was, I know Ragnarok's, I know the Asgard's got to go. So, because I know it's got to go, as long as I preserve the people. Because if you ever noticed, he wasn't so mad about the fact of losing his home. He was mad about the fact that the people was getting killed, slaughtered left and right, and that he couldn't protect them because he's the guardian of his people. So, and the Dark Elves fall underneath that lineage of, Odin's thinking and all. All you have to do is just think about Groot from Minions, a group from Minions, and then he's got all these minions. The minions are the light elves. For those that need a good reference to, like, okay,
that's a good way to sum it up.
Yeah, the minions are the light elves. That's who they are.
Were you one of those people that saw Minions and wore a suit to the movie theater?
If I would have seen it live in the theater, Max, I probably would have wore a suit. I probably would have.
You're part of the problem, Sean. You're part of the problem. Look,
hey, man, I love Minions, man. I love Gru. I love the Minions. I love that movie, man. The whole series.
I think we need to transition, and usually this is the point where we would talk about the post-credit scene, or maybe we'll break down some of the 3 key scenes in the episode. But I want to do something I want to call Wong talk. Has the power of Sorcerer Supreme gone to his head? This is a very different Wong, I feel like, than when we first saw him in Doctor Strange.
I think Wong is working for somebody. I think that Wong has drunk the Kool-Aid, and I don't know if he's working for somebody. And I have a major, I think, spoiler belief. I think that Wong is going to be one of those guys that joins the Thunderbolts. I think he's going to create a team based on his whole connectivity to everybody within the Marvel Cinematic Universe. But Wong said something that was off. And I want you, for you Marvel fans that watch the show and watch us, go back and look at it. Wong says, we're not going to erase the memories of people again. Wong, how do you know that? Because your memory got erased. Remember, Stephen Strange said at the end of Spider-Man No Way Home, the only person that's going to remember that your Spider-Man is you, including me. And at the time, he wasn't the Sorcerer Supreme, Wong was. So that means that the spell wiped off everybody. So Wong, who you been fooling with, who you been talking with, or who have you been getting information from to know that the spell for Peter Parker wiped out everybody's memory? And that's why I'm saying that dude is working for somebody. I don't know if it's Kang. I don't know if it's the speculated Red Hood. I don't know if it's Victor Von Doom who's coming. I don't know. But Wong ain't by himself with this one, man. There's some stuff going on.
Well, I agree with you that Wong's working for somebody. And this is, to me, maybe him assembling the Second Sons. And that fight with Abomination wasn't about his own strength, like Wong claimed it to be. It was about testing the Abomination strength and, hey, could this guy help out?
Yeah.
If we needed him in a cinch.
Yeah.
And I agree with you. That was crazy that he mentioned, and that had to be what he was alluding to Spider-Man's name erasal from the universe.
Correct.
And to drop that little nugget in there, I thought was just huge. And just saying, wow, the stakes are like, not the stakes are high in the episode, but I can't believe they would mention such a huge moment in MCU. Yes. Peter Parker erased, basically.
Yeah, that moment, if you go back and look at it, that's what changed everything in the MCU as of today. This preludes the Multiverse of Madness. This is like right around or right before the whole WandaVision. All this stuff's happening all at the same time. So this is like a momentous event. But Wong, you know what happened after Strange ran the spell and wiped everybody's memory of Peter Parker? Nah, bro. You once again, Max. You know how I do. Double agent. He's a double agent. He switch hitting. He bats on the left and the right side of the plate. So who he working for, I don't know, but we're gonna find out. We're gonna find out.
And I really feel like Wong, at every chance he had, was like, I'm the Sorcerer Supreme. Wong, the Sorcerer Supreme.
Mhm.
And I feel like he's loving every minute of it.
Yeah.
He was kind of a jerk to Jen. He didn't show up till the very last minute. We don't know what he was doing.
Yeah.
The prison guards were like, you just admitted to this. And he's like, well, I got to go. Sorcerer Supreme out.
Right. But that's the whole mindset of the anti-hero, though, bro. It's all about them.
Yeah, right? Wong, I would say Wong was acting in a very selfish manner.
Mm-hmm.
And not that I hate Wong or anything. I'm just saying it's a little different than what we've seen him.
Yeah. Bro, I don't disagree. I just think something's going on with Wong. To me, something's going on with Wong.
So let's dive into these scenes. And I have them listed as Easter eggs. Blonsky's parole hearing, the whole thing. I know it's chopped up throughout the episode.
Mm-hmm.
Pug rescues Dennis.
Mm-hmm.
And then Jen gets attacked. So let's leave Jen gets attacked. Which one of those two do you want to hit first?
I like let's talk about Blonsky and how he moved through the whole scenes of parole and all whatever else, because there was some little reference points too about a comparative narrative to actually Jennifer Walters and Blonsky. There's like, I don't even know if Blonsky's trying to win Jen, or is he trying to win people, or is he just being controlled like a puppet?
Well, that's the key question, right?
Too. Yeah.
Is his motives true and honest? And let me ask you, are they?
I believe that they possibly can be, but it's hard to come back once you go down the evil pathway, man. I mean, to make it all the way back to have the full arc of redemption, which, see, and that's why I'm saying I think he's going to be the Thunderbolts. He's going to be a member of the Thunderbolts, because that's who the Thunderbolts are in the comics. The Thunderbolts are villains that became a super team because the Avengers wouldn't come back together, but they were controlled like puppets by the government, which later on you found out that there was people pulling the strings for the government. So that's
a Suicide Squad of the Marvel universe, basically.
That's exactly who they are. Exactly. But they're not as dark, right? They actually have some heroic moments throughout the comic book, right? But they're still, at one point it's Norman Osborn running the show. At another point it's Victor Von Doom running the show. I mean, they're getting controlled like puppets, but they think it's the government. So he's got the character arc that lines up with a Thunderbolt. So that's why he could be, but I think it might be a setup. And that's why I think Wong's on the team too. I think Wong, U.S. agent, Blonsky is the Abomination, without a doubt, those three, and probably Black Widow's sister. I think those four definitely are
U.S. agent for sure, unless you said him.
Yeah, I said U.S. agent.
Oh, you did? Okay. So this is what I was. So when Jen's going and coming from the prison, they're saying, hey, you're pregnant with Blonsky's baby. Did you get your powers in a mafia hit gone wrong?
Right.
And as soon as they said that, it triggered what you said in your video, because I didn't know this when you filmed the video. I was learning too. Just remind us, G. I'll give you your kudos right now.
As far as what I talked about, because I talked
just
about
the way you
video.
explained why was that? Why would that be something that sticks out to you? Explain the history behind Jen Walters getting shot.
Right, because Jennifer Walters in the original comic book, The Savage She-Hulk, which I actually got the episode number 2 up here on the wall somewhere. Anyway,
well, Sean might get lost looking for it. Let's just put it like that.
Right, but in the original Savage She-Hulk comic book run, She-Hulk Jennifer Walters was there was an assassination attempt because she was representing a person that was going to take down the mob. And so in the assassination attempt, she was shot. Well, her cousin, Bruce Banner, found her in the comic book run. And he was like, the only way I can save her life is I have to give her a blood transfusion. And so by giving her a blood transfusion, he transmitted some of that gamma-infused blood into Jennifer Walters' body, which had an adverse effect, which eventually turned her into She-Hulk. So that gave a shout back or a shout out to the comic book, even though they changed the origin story on this, where it was a Sicarian ship and it was in an accident and Banner was hurt and cut and their bloods mixed. And so it still was shouting out the original Savage She-Hulk #1, which was that actually went down in the comic.
And that just calls back to the end of the post credit scene in the last one, where she's having car troubles, helping working on a broken car. Another callback to the original comic lore of the
Mhm.
She-Hulk.
Yes, sir.
And
Absolutely.
I love that about Marvel. It's small, and hey, some people might go right over your head, but the people like G, especially more G than myself, who grew up on the comics, I don't
Mhm.
know what's cooler than that.
Yeah. Yeah. That I love the fact that Kevin Feige from time to time takes liberties as far as explaining or expanding or switching genders with characters, but he always, always, always has his directors pay homage to the original storyline in some capacity. Now, you wouldn't know it unless you were a comic book fan or a comic book head. You don't have to be my age to be one of those people. Because what I'm finding out, more and more young people are into comics than I even thought or realized. And I've learned that over the last 6 months, that this 24 and under, there's a whole gang of young people out there that loves comic books, even the original renditions. But
Yeah.
knowing that and learning the history of the story, it's almost like learning history in school. You know, you're learning the story about why things are the way they are. So, you know, big shout out to Feige and the crew and hit the directors for the She-Hulk by giving homage to the original comic book run, because I thought that was just great.
No, I 100% agree with you. And to me, I think Emil is being truthful. I'm going to take this side that he's being truthful. And one day down the road, because I don't believe this is the last time we'll see the Abomination. He's going to be
Oh,
coaxed
no.
into it, whether it be, it's probably going to be with a gun to his head or some type of, maybe one of his 7 amazing soulmates will be held at gunpoint. And now he'll be forced to do it. So
Yeah.
in my mind, this is not the last of the Abomination.
Oh, no. No, no. Major character as we move forward in the episodes. Matter of fact, I think moving forward, you might see as much Abomination as you do Blonsky.
So
I
do you
would
think,
speculate that.
will we see him again in the She-Hulk show, or this is the last we'll see of him?
Oh, no, you're going
For
to
this
see
season.
Abomination. No. You're going to see Abomination. I eventually think you're going to see Abomination fighting somebody. I doubt if it's Jennifer Walters, but you're going to see him fight somebody.
But we'll see him again in this show.
Oh, yeah, without 100%.
Okay.
You can bank on it. 100%.
I can't wait to see it.
Even if it's something good where now he moves into the hero arc, and now people love him and they like him and they, you know, oh, Blonsky, yeah, Abomination, where he goes from bad to good. You know, because that's really what She-Hulk is. And that's what I was going to say earlier, Max. She-Hulk is the bridge between Hulk and Blonsky. People love She-Hulk right off the rip. They hated the Hulk. They hated Blonsky. So the way for redemption, as far as if you have Gamma stuff, you got to go through She-Hulk because she's the one. She's the chosen one. You know,
she's definitely like the 5-star prospect coming up, where the Hulk was kind of just like the 2-star that got real cocky and everyone hates, and Jen was just like, she's Arch Manning, like everyone loves him. Everyone loves her.
Correct.
And that's a little different.
Yeah,
and
correct.
So we covered the Emil Blonsky Jen Pearl thing. So let's quickly hit Dennis gets rescued by Pug. So Dennis is just a horrible dude. He's self-absorbed, but even horrible dudes don't deserve to get taken for 175 large by Megan Thee Stallion. And first of all, she's not driving a Volkswagen. Like,
correct.
You honestly kind of deserve it a little bit at that point.
Correct.
But I did enjoy this little arc of it. It was nice comic relief. Pug's a cool character. And it was nice to see Jen help Dennis by also insulting his whole being.
Yeah.
Is that like fair to sum it up?
Well, that was the only way to, because remember, in a court of law, it's not what you know, it's what you can prove. So the proof of the pudding was, this guy is so self-absorbed, he would really believe in his mind that he had an actual shot to date Megan Thee Stallion. So he's like, oh, I'm the man. I'm the one. So they had to prove that in a court of law, that he was so absorbed in himself that, hey, look, yeah, he really did believe he was dating Megan. Therefore, argued the case to say, hey, look, he should, because you duped this guy to take $175,000 from him. So on one hand, I feel bad for him, but on the other hand, I'm like, that's really who he is. His character.
You got to know the game a little bit. You got to know you're not dating Megan Thee Stallion. You got to know in your heart of hearts.
Man,
first of all, he's way too short for her. Second of all, she ain't driving a Volkswagen. 3, come on, dog. What are you doing?
Man, he believed in his heart, that he believed in his whole being that he's the guy. But I mean, go back to the first episode where he said, I got to go over there and talk to it. He was talking about a female. You know, like
I
he's
could be my
someone.
future wife or something.
Yeah, let me go talk to it, not her, not the lady, not the nice lady, not the good-looking lady. Let me go talk to it. So
Like it's an object. Yeah.
exactly. He's so self-absorbed. It's all about him anyway. So you know, you're reaping what you're sowing, dude. If you know if that makes sense to our viewers and our listeners, you done put it in bad, so now it's coming back bad, and you know, and you got caught up. You know, really.
And this isn't the first cameo of a famous person in an MCU project. And just
No.
some off the top of my head, Elon Musk was in Iron Man 2. Luke Cage Method Man pops up.
Yeah.
But I feel like they really leaned into the star of Megan Thee Stallion and like made her do her ad lib, the little whatever thing she does. I can't do it.
Right.
And we see her again. This is like just too easy just transition. The post-credit scene. I don't know if it's horrifying, but She-Hulk is twerking with Megan Thee Stallion. She signs her as a client.
Yeah.
The boss, Holloway, is just mortified seeing the two people twerk in the office.
Right.
This might be the most disturbing MCU scene we've ever seen, post-credit scene we've ever seen.
I don't know, man. I just think that it's tying to this generation of people. You got to remember, Marvel is selling something. They're selling a product. They got guys like me that's been with them. I hate to tell my age, but I'm 50. So they got guys like me.
Ugh.
I've been with them, since the 70s. I've been riding with Marvel. So they got me. And they lightweight got like your generation, that mid to late 20s.
Hold on. I'm 27. I grew up and if this was my generation, it'd be like Sierra or Ashanti.
Well, they got you guys too. The ones who they want is that 19 and down. That's who they're going after. So that's why all the titles and the runs have been really, if you really go back, the only one that was really for people that were a little bit older was WandaVision. But it was still
I'd say Moon Knight too, though. I would throw Moon Knight into there.
But it was a new character. So they could, they could sell She-Hulk, Moon Knight, Miss Marvel. They can sell their new characters. But even Hawkeye, Kate Bishop, they can sell that to the, but the issue
Haley Steinfeld's to the new generation of kids. I didn't even know she was before Hawkeye.
Exactly. So that's what I'm saying, that they're selling it to those. So they have to pick a person who was a top 10 superstar, because all lines cross. All lines of entertainment cross. Sports, entertainment, comic books,
movie
all that
stars,
stuff. It all crosses. Right. So they sold the idea to Megan, and Megan bought into it. So they decided to use her, because it would have been stupid if they'd had a male. So they had to get a female. So who's the hottest female that they could have got? I'm quite sure they pitched the idea to a whole bunch of different people. But at the end of the day, Megan Thee Stallion, you're a freaking genius. You are
excellent
locked
move on
in
her
Marvel.
part.
Yeah, you are locked in Marvel forever. And now they can switch your character up. They can say you was a shape-shifting. I mean, they could do whatever with you. But that was a genius move. Genius move. Who's ever telling you to make your moves and advising you, got to give you a thumbs up. You was really, really, really smart.
I have to agree. Anytime you can get into the MCU, you just do it. Yeah. You have to take it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I agree with you. The whole generation thing is correct. And I mean, they have like the little TikTok stuff. They have like the little quick things. It was a Miss Marvel. Like, who's a superhero? Oh my God. She's rescued me. Talk about TikTok, all this stuff that, I mean, I remember when Facebook came out, I was in high school, and Instagram was like, oh, this is a hot new thing. And now the 8-year-olds are growing up with it. And we didn't have that stuff when I was 8 years old.
Exactly.
We had AOL Instant Messenger, and you thought you was hot. Like this. Now the kids would be like, oh, you're a fossil. I'm like, come on. That was only 2008.
You just made me feel so old. Max, I remember dial-up. I remember
that. I'd be hanging up the phone, be like, why is the internet need the phone? Why is the phone ringing? Let me hang it up. I don't have internet anymore.
I remember when there was no internet. I remember when there was no cell phones. And like I was in high school.
Guys, pray for Big G. Let's just take a moment to reflect on where Big G started off with no social media, no internet, to where we are now, where me and G could sit on opposite ends of the country, do a podcast.
Right. But Max, that's why I love the comic book so much, because you got to remember, I could focus in on something without all these other distractions and pull-aways and getting my attention. That's why I fell in love with comic books, because I could literally sit. I remember being 9 and 10 and 11 years old and sitting in my mom and dad's living room, and my dad gave me like $5 to go to the comics book store, and I got like 10 comics for $5, and I'm sitting there flipping through the pages of the comics, and I'm like, oh my God, this storyline is just so great, and I would lose myself. So that's why I think that the MCU is just so great for this new generation, especially like what they're doing in Disney Plus, because everything's digital. Everything's right here, right now, got to capture my attention, and how they're tying in all this new stuff, Twitter, Instagram, instantaneous satisfaction, knowing the hot story. They even made a reference to it in the show where the guy said, hey, there's a rumor that you got rejected by the Avengers? And the reporter turns around and looks at the screen. Their latest rumor, She-Hulk was rejected by the Avengers. So, I mean, you see what I'm saying? They're tying the culture to try to get the people to buy into the books.
I just think they've done a good job. There's no doubt about it. They've done an excellent job of kind of capturing what it's like to be a celebrity in the world today.
Right.
Like Kamala Khan felt it. Jen Walters felt it. Yep. And at the end of the episode, Jen Walters is doing her thing. She's coming off probably the highest high of hers on the show of, I won my case. She-Hulk's kicking butt. And she's attacked by 4 dudes wielding really weird, colorful weapons, Asgardian construction workers, as she calls them. Swiftly defeated. One of them tries to stab her with a syringe, and obviously they're going after her butt. We can agree to that, right?
Yeah.
Like something in the gamma.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's what they want.
And they say, the boss is going to be like, upset at us. So is the boss Wilson Fisk? Is the boss Blonsky from behind the scenes? Power broker? I'm not going to say Victor Von Doom. Stop. It can't always be Doom. It hasn't been Doom one time. We can't keep saying him.
The Red Hood, the Doom, Red Hood guy.
Could be somebody, but let's speculate right now that we're going to see the man behind the curtain or woman, and who could it be? Who are you going to say?
Can I tell you this first, Max?
Yes, you can. Tell me whatever you want.
So I don't go and toot my horn a lot on the show about like what I said was going to happen and all.
That's not accurate, people.
No, it is accurate. I actually try to remain humble at all times, really.
People who call themselves humble are humble. Like, keep going. Keep going. I didn't say anything. I don't know who said that. It was your conscience.
Yeah, it's something. Something was talking, However, when I did my breakdown of the She-Hulk, I said that you was going to see the Wrecking Crew. I said you was going to see him. And I said that you was going to see him in 2 different versions. You was going to see him unpowered, and you was going to see him powered up. I knew it was the Wrecking Crew, not just by the weapons, but when they get in the van, he said, did you get it, Thunderball? I was like, Wrecking Crew, automatic, 4 guys. They all fit the description. That's who it is. So we're going to see those guys at least 1, possibly 2 more times. And believe me, eventually, some kind of way, they're going to get powered up.
Well, G. So here's what I want you to do. Give me a brief 1-minute thing or 1 to 2 minutes about the Wrecking Crew and who they're tied into working with in the comics or in the Marvel history.
Okay, so the Wrecking Crew was given Asgardian weapons. The actual Wrecker, which the crowbar what they had, was struck by lightning, which was manipulated by Thor's lightning to hit it from Loki. And upon the inception of that, they were around gamma radiated products. So between the gamma radiation and the thunder and the lightning, it caused them to become super enhanced gamma beings. The Wrecking Crew is always considered first the Wrecker and then the Crew, which is the 3 other guys. So it's Bulldozer, Thunderball, and I forgot the other guy's name. He's the one in the yellow and the green, but it's 3 guys. So their weapons even match the colors of their comic book rendition of the Wrecking Crew. So I'm telling you right now, you're going to see those guys get enhanced. It might not be a She-Hulk. I'm hoping.
And who do they work for primarily in the MCU? Are they solo contractors? Are there anyone they've teamed up with? Maybe they've worked for Wilson Fisk once upon a time.
Nah, who they work for is Loki, Victor Von Doom, and Kang. And Kang. And their most notable person they work for is Von Doom. Von Doom brought them to Battle World in the original rendition of Secret Wars in the comic book. Like the Beyonder brought them to Battle World to fight, but then Doom brought them to Battle World in Secret Wars. So,
Guys, if
so
Sean's
I,
gonna toot his horn so much if it's Doom, I just want to let you guys know beforehand, just so you guys are
no,
prepared.
it's just Doom's my favorite villain guy, man. You know, I love Victor Von Doom, man. I when I first read him in the comic books, I'm like, man, this guy, if they could ever get him on the big screen, and I
This
thought
guy
that they just
reminds me of me.
yeah,
That's why I
they
liked it.
no, it wasn't me. No, it wasn't.
No, I
He's
know.
way too sinister. But I couldn't. But I couldn't. I when I saw him and they did it in the Fox universe, and oh my God, they destroyed the character. So I was like, please, just one of these days, can Kevin Feige actually just own the Fantastic Four title and do it right? So I think he's gonna do it right, man. I think really Victor Von Doom. And hey, but I do know this too, Max, because I found this out in the rabbit hole. The reason why they haven't introduced him on screen yet, this is gonna mess you up. Do you know what the actual date is where they can use Doom in a title? Do you know what the actual date is?
I think it's 2023, some late 2023,
Nope.
2024.
No. October 1st of 2022. October 1st, he clears. He clears.
Because Black Panther is November?
Correct. He clears. That's why they're going to introduce him first and then introduce the four. Because he clears.
Well,
He
we've seen
clears
one of the
October
4, but we don't. Well, there's been a lot of speculation lately that one of the 4 might not be the actual one that we're going to get to be with. But that's another topic for another day. But
yeah,
I love what you said about the Wrecking Crew. Great little insight. And
thank you, Max. Thank you.
If it's Doom, man, you're in a toot your own horn. I'm just going to say that.
No, I promise you, I'm not. I promise you, I'm not. I just like I can.
He said it, everyone. He said it.
This is what I believe. Every person has gifts to do stuff. And just for whatever reason, maybe it's because I know my gift is I can follow breadcrumbs in any walk of life, but especially in comic books, I can like follow it. So I'm like, I've been calling Doom for over a year and a half. I said Doom was coming. Y'all, and then everybody was, oh, it's Kang. And I was like, okay, just hold on. And then when they did Secret Wars, Fantastic Four, I'm like, oh, y'all can kiss the baby. Doom is coming, bro. There ain't no ifs, ands, buts about it.
So, like, as we wrap up this episode, I got 2 questions. One, I want to hear your grade for the episode, and give me a brief little what you think is going to happen in the next episode.
Okay, grade 8.6. 8.6. I think it moved. I think the wordage and verbiage was good. I think the actual script of it worked. I like the introductions of the characters. I like how they kept it towards the generation of gap, but they still played homage to us as old comic book heads. And I think the next episode, you're going to get introduction of more characters. You're going to have, because Jennifer Walters made a reference to it. She said, it's not like you're going to get a cameo every episode. She said at the very beginning when she was in the car, she was setting you up, letting you know that from this point moving forward, you're going to get cameos or reference points all the way back to the original Marvel comics. So I think we're going with that. And I think we might see the redemptive arc of Blonsky pay off. And Jennifer Walters finally embraced the fact of her being She-Hulk.
I love what you said. I went 9 out of 10. I really enjoyed it for everything you said. I'm a little upset we didn't get to see Daredevil. I'm really anxious to see him because I love the Daredevil show. He's one of my favorite characters in the MCU.
Yeah.
So I agree with you. There's going to be more cameos, whether that's famous people or different MCU characters. And Blonsky, it's going to be a redemption or there's going to be a big turn. This is not the last we hear from him. That's my thing. And like you said, there's a lot that's going to happen with this show. I would say the tone of the show is very different. It's very... I don't think the show takes itself too seriously. Is that a good way to say it?
Yeah, yeah.
And if you think about the MCU, there's been a lot of serious things where it's Ant-Man and Quantumania, or excuse me, Ant-Man 2 and the Wasp, where he goes into the quantum zone. How about Endgame? That was serious. The whole movie was basically serious.
Yeah.
So this show takes itself lightly. It's a fun watch for everyone who hasn't watched it. It's only 30 minutes. You don't have to really put on your Marvel binoculars and look, where we got to see, where do we see? It's pretty straightforward. It's a good show. I'm enjoying it a lot. And G, I know you're enjoying it a lot. So
yeah,
let's just continue to enjoy it. Anything else before we say goodbye to the people? Don't forget, guys, to like, subscribe, comment on the video. It really helps out. I know we moved from Wednesday to Thursday, so if you guys watch the show on Friday after we go live, just leave a comment. We'll hit it next. We'll hit it next episode. G, anything else?
No, that's it, man. Like I said, I really do believe that they're moving forward. And Mac, but I am going to say this last thing.
Go ahead.
We need these laughs because of what's coming. The next 2 or 3 things outside of Werewolf by Night as tear jerk moments, man. Between Black Panther, Wakanda
That's
Forever,
going to be heavy. Yeah, it's
yeah,
going to be heavy.
Ant-Man Quantumania, Guardians 3. We need a show like this right now. Because when it's all said and done, we're going to be like, man, this is just so heavy. I got to go back and watch. You're going to watch something, even if you don't watch it now, and you'll watch She-Hulk. So great job on Marvel shuffling the deck to put She-Hulk in the right place at the right time.
Sean, great show, great feedback, good input, and everyone out there have a lovely 3-day weekend. I'm Max from the Marvelish Pod. He's Big G. We are out. Peace.